Ella. Okay, now there. Oh, there we go. Can somebody just unmute and just say you can see that screen saying?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, super. So before we get going today, I just I think we're getting into the swing of it really nicely now. You guys are doing excellent jobs at keeping up to date with the work I'm setting. I think all bar Tracy, and obviously with Tracy, it's totally understandable with the time difference and what have you, and probably the logistics of accessing everything. The rest of you are bang up to date with all your Hegarty exercises. Absolutely every one of you has done absolutely every one. Okay. Now, I'm conscious of the fact that we've got to balance two things here, aren't we? As you know, just looking at the screen here, what we've been advised to do by Mr. Smith is that to introduce the lessons, sort of 5-10 minutes, sort of live lesson each time, and then really the compulsory sort of homework bit to be only about 25 minutes, because clearly it takes a lot of time to upload pieces of work and what have you. Now, I want to really give you the opportunity, if you want to do some extra maths, what maths I want you to do. Okay. Now, I really want to stress this is nothing that you have to do. So this is very much extension work if you choose to do it. So I think the first thing every time is just to improve what you've done so far. So as I said, none of you have got any gaps. So there are no gaps to fill in, but you haven't necessarily got 100% each time. Now, I think where it's just like one tiny slip, and it's just the way Hegarty sort of marks it like a blunt instrument because you've forgotten to simplify a fraction, it sort of only gives you 75% and not 100%. Clearly, that's just not really worth doing, redoing again. But where you've made a few mistakes, you might want to go back and try and improve your percentages. And if you do, just send me a post to tell me that you've done it. Otherwise, I will miss it. So if you improve your mark, let me know, and I can go back and update my mark book. Now, what I really want to do for the extension work is for it to be Corbett Maths. Okay. Now, Corbett Maths is an excellent website. We've done worksheets off it before, and why it's so good is because it's got videos for every single topic. It's got the practice questions for every single topic, and it's got the answers as well. Okay, so if you want to just go and practice more of what we've been doing, okay, or you just want to dot around things in the past that you haven't been that comfortable with, then this is the place to go, please. Okay, I don't suggest you go and do any topics we haven't covered yet, because in a way that kind of spoils it for next year in fifth form. So if you choose to do some of those Corbett Maths exercises, I would appreciate it if you would mark it first. Two reasons. Obviously, it saves me having to mark it, but more importantly, you immediately can see whether you're understanding it or not, and you can make your corrections as you go. So if you choose to do some of this Corbett Maths extension work, please can you get it, mark it? And then what I'd like you to do, please, if you're going to upload it, and I'd really encourage you to do so, can you go and load it onto the class notes page? Okay, not homework, because I want to keep homework for the compulsory work that we're doing. So the homework bit is where the compulsory work goes, and any additional normal IGCSE work, I want you to go and post in class notes, and then you must please let me know, otherwise I will miss it. So even though you've marked it, I would welcome the opportunity to go and take a look so I can make a comment and what have you. Now, in addition, now this is important, guys, we're going to be doing further maths next year if you want to. Being top set, it's something that's offered to you, and this will be something that we run once a week at a lunchtime. So you'll have an early lunch pass, you go and have your lunch, and we will just run it as a normal lesson. So it's a timetabled lesson for me. So it's not compulsory for you, but it's sort of compulsory for me. Okay, and in these lessons we will cover the further maths syllabus. Now the further maths gives you another exam, it gives you another IGCSE, but it's harder maths. It bridges the gap between IGCSE and the A level. So it's a good thing to have anyway. And it, if you go on to do A-level maths, it obviously gives you a bit of a head start. Now, I want to be very careful that how we control it if you choose to do some of the further maths work, because I really need to be clear what work you've already done when we have these sessions next year. Okay, so basically, if you are going to be accessing this further maths material, it's also on Corbett Maths. Okay, now what you would do, you go onto the Corbett Maths website, so you just Google corbettmaths.com, you go onto the website, and you'll see that if you go and click on more, that the first option you get is further maths. Okay, and then again, it's great. It's got a whole bunch of lessons where it's got the video, the practice questions, and the answers. And I'm really going to be using this as the basis of our work next year. I'm not even sure we'll even bother getting the textbook. I think we will just work through using this website, and we will file things away in a separate LibreArch file accordingly. So there's only 3 topics under number, and I suggest we get a dividers, and we call these N1, N2, N3. The algebra section is just huge. Okay, there's lots and lots of algebra there. And again, I suggest we just call them A1, A2, A3, A4, and so on. Now, I want to control which bits you do here, just as I said, so I know next year I don't suddenly want to be spending a lunchtime doing function notations, and you go and look in your folder and you go say, oh, Mr. Withers, I did this last year during lockdown. So I want to know which ones you may have done this year. So the way I propose to do this, and again, remember, this is voluntary. Okay, I am going to go and set assignments for further maths. Now, this is voluntary. I want to keep stressing that. Okay, now you'll go and see, if you go in and have a look on your class notebook, here's Alex's here, that filed under handouts. Okay, handouts I want to keep just for further maths. So class notes will be like any extra work you do for normal maths. Homework is going to be our compulsory lockdown work, and handouts is where we will file the further maths. Okay, now it'd been great if I could have just opened up a tab saying further maths, and I could have changed the name of these tabs, but I was really struggling to go and link it with the assignments bit. So I think we'll just go with this. We're just handouts is going to be for further maths, and you will see already that I've just taken the first 3 algebraic topics, which have all been condensed into a single worksheet called functions. Okay, now we've done functions before, but these further maths ones may take it a little bit further. So you could, if you choose to do this extension work, okay, you would go and watch the video. Do you see, here's the video here, so A1, A2, A3, they're all on functions, and the video with the same video for all 3 bits, the same practice questions, the same answers. So if you want some extension work, if you're finding the maths is just taking you no time at all at the moment, and let's face it, these are quite simple little topics we're looking at the moment, you can go in and do this specific work, please. Okay. Now I will then control that. So if you've gone and done that work, please upload your work here. Okay, so this is extension work. There's no requirement to complete it. So upload your work there. Send me a post through to say that you've done it. I will then record your mark because, as I said, it's being set by me as an assignment, so I can record the mark. But clearly, I won't be chasing these. These are only there if you want to do them. Now, once somebody's done this first one, I will just go and set another one, and then another one, and then another one. So I will set assignments at the pace of whoever's doing most of these. But please don't get stressed. You are not missing out if you choose not to do this. Okay? This is purely for those of you who want to extend yourselves in maths while we're all stuck at home. Okay? What you must do is keep up to date with your homeworks that I'm setting you. So this handouts, this further math stuff, is only if you want to. I just thought we'd see how this goes. If you guys are finding it too difficult, then perhaps we'll have another rethink about what extension work to do. But obviously, it's a real scoot to get through the further math with just one lunchtime a week in fifth form. So any of this that you guys can get done is obviously going to be beneficial if you think further maths is something you'd like to do next year as a lunchtime activity. Okay, right. Okay, so that was a lot to talk about just extension material, but I just thought now was a good time. We've been back a few weeks, you got into a really good routine. So if you wanted to do some extra work, now was a good time, I thought, to introduce it. So today's lesson. Okay, so we're still working through these revision bits and bobs on probability. So this is going to be on Venn diagrams. And I've specifically set you the 383 one because I thought any of the Venn diagrams before this weren't appropriate. So let me just talk you through one of these questions. They're pretty straightforward. Okay, so so it's probability using a Venn diagram. So we go and create a Venn diagram, and for this particular question, we're talking about flute players F and piano players P. So go and set up a Venn diagram, and these will all just be slightly different. You just got to follow the instructions. So we start off. There are 14 people who play the flute only. So 14 goes into the flute part of the rugby ball, clearly not the overlap. But they're only playing the flute. 8 people play the piano only, so there's my 8, and I'm told that 14 play neither, so my 14 goes into the neither bit. Now I know that, well, I've got an unknown of the number of people who play both instruments. That's the only bit missing. Now I know that all of these together, 14 plus x plus 8 plus 14, has to equal my total number of 47 pupils. So a straightforward piece of algebra. Gather up your left-hand side, 36 plus x is 47, so x equals 11. The question doesn't ask me how many students play both instruments, it asks me what's the probability. So remember, probability is the best way to give those if you've got the choices by way of a fraction. So it's 11, my x is the 11 out of my total of 47, so that would be my final answer. I'm just going to model one more of these, because you just got to watch the wording. And also this had a little tweak at the end. Okay, this had a little tweak at the end. So let's follow what we've been told. One person studies both art and biology, so one's gone in the middle. 5 study biology but not art, so there's my 5. 9 study neither subject. Okay, I know I've got 23 students in total, so again x plus 1 plus 5 plus 9 has got to equal 23, so I can work out that x equals 8. Okay, so x equals 8. Now, read the question carefully. The question doesn't say, what is the probability that I choose somebody who studies just art? It says, given that a randomly selected student studies art. So given we're only choosing from the people who do art. So what is our denominator? How many people study art? Well, we've got these 8, which is x, plus the one person who studies both. So we've got 9 students who study art in total. So that's our denominator, given that a randomly selected student studies art. So our denominator is 9. So choosing from those 9, what is the probability that the student studies art and biology? Well, that's just this one person. So our final answer is 1 out of the 9. Okay, so just read the words carefully. Okay, so that's it, guys. Sorry this has been quite a long one, but I really wanted to go through that extension work. So just to really quickly recap that one, you must do the homeworks that I set. So you must do like this Venn diagram work. Okay. If you're then looking for something to do, go back and improve your marks or fill in any gaps if you've got them. And then you could go and choose to do Corbett maths and just do further practice of our normal stuff. So it could be Venn diagrams, it could be anything you like. So that would just be from the normal Corbett maths worksheets. Or if you really want to, if you want to really push yourself and stretch yourself, you can start delving into the further maths Corbett maths worksheets, but please stick to the ones that I don't want you just jumping around there. Do the one that I've set you on functions, and if you've got that one done, ask me to set another one and I will set you another one. That's just going to allow me to keep control of what has been looked at by some of you and what hasn't. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then you guys can get on with the work.